There are certainly some lasting images here still in a huge crime scene. Here behind me, I'm standing on blood-stained sidewalk, and I want to show you this. See that freezer out there in the street? That was inside the concert. There's blood on it. It was used as a gurney to wheel someone out who was injured in this shooting. And if you look up in the daylight, you can actually see the broken window where this all took place, the shooter shooting out that window right there. Being here on the ground, has that added at all for you, the magnitude of what happened here?
It does, because I've spent a lot of time in Las Vegas.
Catherine Jessica Milam is from Sanger. She was one of the hundreds of people injured in this vicious attack here in Las Vegas. She's here at the Desert Springs Hospital tonight, and it turns out the hero that may have saved her life was her close friend.
My immediate thing, I pulled out my phone, was calling my mom, and I told her, I was like, Mom, I just want you to let you know I love you, and I don't know if I'm gonna make it out.
Destiny Albers stood next to her friend Jessica Milam of Sanger as bullets rained down on the country concert venue in Las Vegas.
The second round of shots were going off, and then I could feel the shot hit my friend Jessica, and it went through her whole body.
What happened next may have saved Jessica's life.
As soon as I felt that shot go through her, I was like, I'm not leaving her. She's getting out of here alive. I don't care what it takes. I'm getting her out alive. And I did.
Destiny looked at Jessica and told her she was going to drag her to safety.
I know it's gonna hurt. I'd rather it hurt than for you to be here.
A stranger in a pickup truck drove the girls to Desert Springs Hospital, where Destiny tried to shield Jessica from what was going on around them.
I saw a man laying on top of his wife, saying, God, why? Why no? And then there was a 7-year-old boy that didn't make it who was shot in the chest. And it was just heartbreaking.
Jessica is alive and recovering in the hospital. Her father, Ed, is calling Destiny a hero.
I'm extremely thankful to her, and I'm extremely proud of Jessica for sure.
And we had that difficult conversation with Destiny right here out in front of the hospital. And she tells us that she always viewed herself as someone that would run from an active shooter situation. She even surprised herself with the courage that she had not to leave and to actually save Jessica in that situation. She says seeing Jessica here in the hospital now, surrounded by family and people that she knows will take care of her, is rewarding. And I'm told by Fresno police that this man was picked up on a felony warrant at around 7:30 and brought here to the Fresno Police Department behind me. That's when he pulled away from an officer that was bringing him out of a vehicle and ran here across the street, and eventually he was found up on top of the second floor here at this building about 45 minutes later. Take a look, the suspect still in handcuffs, surrendering as our cameras were here rolling when officers made the arrest. Ironically, he went from the police department over here to this building, and later on he'll be just down the street at the Fresno County Jail. This was a fast-moving fire that's burned at least 3 homes here near Clinton and Bond. I want to show you what firefighters are doing right now. It only took us a few minutes to spot the problem plaguing neighborhoods across Fresno. We found everything from electronics, children's toys, and plenty of tires. Problem is, there isn't an easy solution. I want to show you what's going on in this neighborhood tonight. You can see this gentleman out here clearing a drain here, trying to see if he can get this to drain. He pulled out some grass from this drain earlier, even a wheel chalk that was caught down there.
Now CBS 47 Eyewitness News begins with breaking news.
We do begin with breaking news. Take a look at this. This is dramatic video as a customer steps in to stop a robbery at a local Starbucks. This happened last night. The customer and the suspect are sent to the hospital. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for tuning us in. I'm Ken Malloy. Catherine Herr is off tonight. CBS 47's Patrick Nelson joined us live at police headquarters with more on that Starbucks incident. Patrick.
Well, Ken, as you know, our news crew, the only one on scene at 11 o'clock last night as investigators tried to work this case. It was then that I found out investigators spent hours working with the corporate offices of Starbucks to obtain this video that our viewers are about to see in its entirety. One thing I learned is investigators say in this video, you not only see the actions of a hero, but the takedown of a man who will soon be facing many felony charges. This is 58-year-old Craig Jerry enjoying his Starbucks order and working on an iPad at 5:30 Thursday evening at the Starbucks store on Golden State near Herndon and Highway 99 in Fresno. Suddenly, a man holding a yellow bag wearing an Optimus Prime Transformers mask flashes by and heads to the register. Jerry watches as the man threatens the clerk with a fake gun and eventually a buck knife, demanding money. Police investigators say the man in the mask is 30-year-old Ryan Michael Flores. And what Flores doesn't realize is Craig Jerry has made up his mind. With a chair in hand, he plans to stop the robbery attempt. Jerry hits Flores from behind and a fight ensues. Investigators say Jerry was stabbed in the neck during the struggle, but managed to wrestle away the knife and stab Flores several times. Flores would flee the store and was later arrested by police.
There's probably not very many people in America that would do what Craig Jerry did last night. That was incredibly heroic, and it is the way that I would think most people would think that they would respond, but may not have the courage to respond.
Police leaders say Craig Jerry did need 6 staples in his neck to mend the stab wound he suffered, but he is resting and is expected to make a full recovery. And Flores, the suspect in this case, who, as I mentioned, was stabbed several times during that struggle. At last check, he was in critical but stable condition, and investigators say as soon as he exits the hospital, he'll be heading straight to jail. Megan, this quiet neighborhood looks much different during the day. Car after car speeding past these homes. A man who lives here says he spent the last several years trying to get people to slow down, even investing in traffic cones like this one. But so far, nothing has worked, but he refused to give up.
It is everybody from young to old just flying through here. So now I've become known as the crazy guy in the neighborhood.
Jason Reynolds and his family have lived on West Spruce, just up the street from Nelson Elementary, the last 4 years. In this 30-mile-per-hour zone, Reynolds is tired of people speeding.
And I got fed up and I decided, you know what, I'm going to put my own speed limit sign out here.
This homemade sign and 25-mile-per-hour speed limit are the result of years of frustration.
We've had 4 dogs get ran over, including one of mine. We've had my wife actually pulling into our driveway has been rear-ended twice.
But most drivers aren't impressed.
Now it's gotten to the point to where people, as they come flying down my street, they wave at me sarcastically. Yeah, I love it. I love it. And they'll tell you the truth, I just can't comprehend why. It's just one small thing. One small thing, just slow down. That's all I ask, just for a minute.
The sign has been up for months. It wasn't until this week someone filed this complaint with the city through the Fresno app. City officials say the sign needs to come down.
Residents are not able to post their own speed limits. They're not able to paint red curbing or install stop signs or other things like that.
But neighbors say they appreciate the sign.
Well, I have a 2-year-old and sometimes he runs out, so I think people should be more safe than sorry.
On a normal day, most people are 40 miles an hour, 45 miles an hour, yeah.
And that's too fast.
That's way too fast.
Still, the sign must go. But because of the neighborhood's support of Reynolds' stance, the city vows to take action.
With that concern, we're going to go ahead and go out and do what we call a engineering speed survey to see is there a warrant to actually lower that speed limit to 25.
Reynolds says he won't miss the sign and his mission won't change.
I mean, I'll take the sign down. You know, I'm not out here to break any laws or anything like that. I just want a peaceful street like everybody else around here has.
And back here live, here it is, the sign, maybe the last few hours that it'll be standing here in this neighborhood. But I'm told in addition to looking into perhaps making this the actual speed limit in this neighborhood, the Fresno Police Department has been notified as well, and they'll be doing regular patrols here to make sure people are not speeding. Ken and Catherine, Varley Moberg is behind bars here tonight, and he is no stranger to investigators that say he has an extensive criminal history that includes auto theft and drug charges, but these are non-violent crimes. So he's been released time and time again back out here onto Fresno streets because of Prop 47. And tonight we're learning it's been an emotional 24 hours for the latest victim that he's accused of stealing from.
I actually started having heart or chest pains yesterday. when I came home and this truck was gone.
Wednesday morning, longtime Fresno resident Jim Crowder was suffering from a broken heart after noticing his 1962 Chevy pickup, his pride and joy for more than 40 years, had been stolen.
I really couldn't sleep very good last night, and I was trying to figure out where, why would anybody take the truck and where would it go?
But a day later, investigators with the multi-agency HEAT team spotted the truck at Maple and Gettysburg.
They keep eyes on the vehicle, then they start to see it drive off. They start to follow the truck, and next thing you know, the suspect's taking them right back to the neighborhood where it disappeared from.
Are you kidding me? How often would an auto thief bring the car back to where he took it?
Pulls up in front of the victim's house, parks it like it's no big deal, and gets out and walks away.
46-year-old Varley Moberg was arrested. Investigators describe him as a career car thief. Crowder's truck looks a little different.
There's some damage here they've done. This is something they hit.
But he's thankful to be back in the driver's seat.
These officers, they just went out of their way, and they're super.
For Mr. Crowder, this old truck is much more than just about a ride, but it's a reflection of his past.
I mean, it's memories. I mean, it's my truck. I see that, I think of my dad, my brother, and they're all gone. So I couldn't bear missing it. I don't mean to get emotional, but that's what it is to me.
And the crackdown on auto theft here in the Fresno area is producing results. I'm told since the start of the year, the multi-agency HEAT team has recovered 300 stolen vehicles and has made more than 80 arrests.
It's a story you will only see on Eyewitness News.
A convicted sex offender is back in jail tonight, and investigators say they can't believe where they found him. 40-year-old Damon Rogers was arrested a week ago by Fresno police on a charge of being a felon with a firearm. He was convicted of rape back in 1998 and was released in 2011. CBS 47's Patrick Nelson joined us live in the control room. Patrick, what are investigators telling you about this arrest?
Well, Ken and Catherine, when they found Rogers, a convicted rapist, they say he was working as a security guard outside a rape crisis center right here in Fresno. They say they're not sure why or how that happened, but they say as a convicted felon, he broke the law by carrying a gun, and tonight he's in jail.
Justin, thank you. Tonight, Eyewitness News investigates. We are learning more about Aiden Hawk. He's the murder suspect who was captured today after he escaped from police custody on Friday.
Detectives tracked down Hawk and arrested him early this morning at an apartment complex in Sacramento. And take a look at this. When he was captured, Hawk was still wearing one of the handcuffs that belonged to Fresno police from his escape on Friday. He got a new set of handcuffs today. Eyewitness News was there in downtown Fresno as Hawk, wearing a red hoodie, was brought in by investigators who did not let him escape this time. CBS 47 investigative reporter Patrick Nelson joins us now.
So, Patrick, investigators say this person has an extensive criminal history. What are you finding out?
Well, it turns out he's just 21 years old, and he's actually spent most of his adult life either in court or behind bars. And I dug up court records today that show Hawk was arrested for crimes involving guns, gangs, and even running from police. But legal experts tell me even with a lengthy rap sheet, Hawk was given opportunities to avoid being locked up. Thursday morning, investigators arrested Aiden Hawk, perhaps the most wanted man in Fresno at just 21 years old. Our cameras were there as he was brought back to the Fresno Police Department, a place investigators say he escaped last week, allegedly assaulting 2 detectives in the process. Hawk is accused of shooting a man 10 times, killing him in Fresno last week. And detectives say Hawk is a familiar face.
He does have a lengthy criminal history with our department.
So legal analyst David Mugridge and I spent an hour combing through all of Hawk's Fresno County court records to see what that criminal history actually looked like.
It's sad. It's very shocking that somebody would have this much violent history at such a young age.
In 2015, Hawk was arrested and charged with multiple felony counts of assault with a firearm and also participating in a criminal street gang. But those charges were dismissed. Just months later, he was charged with fleeing a peace officer, reckless driving, and 2 more weapons charges. Sentenced on 2 of those charges, Hawk avoided prison, granted 3 years of formal probation as part of Assembly Bill 109.
He was given the golden Willy Wonka ticket, if you will. He had an opportunity that he just blew.
because according to court records, Hawk violated the terms of his release, admitting he was associating with gang members. But court records show Hawk was granted 2 days to get his affairs in order before going to prison. Now he's allegedly committed a murder, and all this criminal history will be key for prosecutors going forward.
Those are crimes that will definitely impact any sentencing, and certainly will impact a jury if he ends up going to a jury trial.
And legal experts say at just 21 years old, Hawk could very well spend the rest of his life behind bars if he is convicted of all the charges against him. And again, we sat down and combed through every one of those documents. And one thing that attorney David Mugridge had said is when he was looking at it, he didn't have any idea how old Hawk was. He says, is this person in their mid-30s? No, early 20s. He says this record will definitely stand out in court.
Wow. Okay, thank you very much.
New at 11, after an uptick in recent cases, Fresno business owners are sharing a warning. Be on the lookout for counterfeit cash. An alert business owner was able to identify a fake $100 bill being used by a customer at her store.
She says that local business owners need to know how to handle this kind of common threat. CBS 47's Patrick Nelson talked with Fresno police about this threat, and he joins us live at police headquarters with more on this one. Patrick.
Ken and Lindsay, both officers and business owners tell me counterfeit cash is being spent all over the city. The Fresno Police Department says there's little they can do once the suspect who spends that fake cash leaves the store. So they're advising businesses everywhere to be prepared to defend against this crime.
Just the fact that she's willing to target a small business and hurt a mom and pop. We have 5 kids. We don't need to be targeted like that. And so for her to do that really upset me.
Linda Wisnant says a woman came into her Tower District store and handed her a counterfeit $100 bill.
It's getting more and more to where you have to suspect everybody.
Fortunately, Wisnant knew what to look for. The woman took off.
They've gotten to where they'll bleach out a lower denomination bill, like a $5 bill or a $1 bill, and then reprint it as a 20 or 100.
In this scenario, markers won't alert to non-currency paper. So Wisnant invested in this $4 light that saved her hundreds.
So this says 20, and it also has 2 and 0 on there, so I know that that is supposed to be a $20 bill.
Taking fake cash still haunts the owner of Most Wanted tattoo and body piercing.
That's something I can never make up. I think about it forever. For reals.
Fake bills are kept in the glass by Augustine Rubio's register as a reminder fake cash is a constant threat.
At least once a month, so 12 times a year.
In nearly 20 years here, Rubio's learned crooks target small businesses like his and Freebird Company in the Tower District.
They will, they'll come try. You know when they try is right before your closing. And if it hasn't been a good day for you, they know that a lot of times you take the money. So.
If a business owner identifies fake cash, Fresno police need to know right away.
Now, if that person who is suspected of passing a counterfeit bill is present, that's when we want the business owner to contact us and we will investigate.
If businesses identify counterfeit money but the suspect is gone, Fresno police say to call this number on your screen. The U.S. Secret Service Fresno Division will take over the investigation. And back here live, I've also posted a link on our website, yourcentralvalley.com, that will take you through all the steps to make sure the money you're getting at your business is good. Reporting live outside the Fresno Police Headquarters, Patrick Nelson, CBS 47 Eyewitness News. The reality is every year student athletes jog off of fields like the one here behind me with concussions that have gone undiagnosed. But imagine if coaches and parents could use something as simple as a smartphone to check those athletes after every game. And what if they had real data in their hands that they could use to determine when it's safe for these athletes to go back into action? That's what the research is all about at Fresno State. Devastating collisions and bone-crushing hits. This is what football fans have learned to expect, but the prevalence of brain injuries in the violent sport has brought the term concussion into the national spotlight. At Fresno State, researchers are working to protect the health of football players and other athletes who are at risk for a head injury. The process may look a little silly, but Dr. Jennifer Adame says the test being done on these club sport athletes is the beginning of better understanding the impact of minor traumatic brain injuries, better known as concussions.
Balance is a good way to determine how well the brain is working.
Currently, none of these athletes are suffering from a concussion. Their test results will give experts baseline data they can use if the athlete gets a concussion in the future.
We're giving a snapshot of what the normal brain function is. Should that athlete sustain a concussion, they can be retested, and those measurements can be compared to their baseline. Dame
says this is a new approach, and right now most doctors simply don't have the data to make the safest decisions.
They go off a symptom rating scale, and the athlete says, I feel fine, I don't have any dizziness, I don't have any headaches, I want to go back to play. And the medical practitioner signs off and allows them to go back to play. Okay, close your eyes.
The Fresno State researchers leading this effort are all moms and say finding a way to better diagnose and treat concussions is personal. Because they have student athletes too.
As a mom, I want to be more protective, not only of my own children, but their teammates.
Fresno State experts say 350,000 people in California will suffer a concussion this year, but only 100,000 will go to the hospital. Most of the others go undiagnosed. To help detect these injuries right after they happen, experts at universities across the country are developing smartphone applications. That includes Fresno State.
It's very simple, and you can just get a quick idea of whether your child has a brain injury or not, and then pursue it from there.
These apps are designed to do various tests, like measuring an athlete's pupils or their balance. For competitive skier Caitlin Allen, having the ability to diagnose a concussion up on the slopes is a game changer.
I think that technology would be great. It would really help out determining if you have a concussion right away rather than going down to the hospital, which is, 30 minutes to an hour away.
Allen is one of the athletes doing the baseline testing. She says it makes her more confident about a path to recovery should she get a concussion.
I think having this data is way better proof. There's evidence.
Right now, Fresno State is working to baseline test 200 student athletes from various sports, including high school football.
Absolutely, baseline testing needs to be done to every athlete.
The Fresno State researchers leading this effort to change the way concussions are handled and diagnosed say they're optimistic that one day the fear of a concussion won't keep kids from experiencing the thrills and experiences of sports.
If we can increase our ability to diagnose a concussion when it occurs so that we can allow the brain to heal, then there's no reason why kids can't participate in those activities.
And most of those smartphone apps that are being developed right now won't be rolled out to the public for at least another year, but that baseline testing can be done right now. In fact, Fresno State offers it as a free service.